All right, let's get started here. So thanks for waiting. Those who showed up on time. I like to always kind of wait a little bit because with people's busy schedules, they tend to come in a little bit later. But just so you know, this will be recorded. So if you have any colleagues that weren't able to make it, or you can think of someone who would want to see this, if they found value in it, let me know afterwards and I can make that available. So I just want to show my face so you know who's talking. Most of this will be with PowerPoint slides, so you won't really see me, but just wanted to introduce myself and put me out here, and I will get on with the show here. Okay. So if you could, I'm just gonna pop up some pop-ups here. If you could just confirm with me in the chat, someone let me know that you can see this, that would be fantastic. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Austin and David. Okay, so while you're here, let's get into it. So welcome to You Are the Brand. This is going to be the 5-step blueprint to get more clients, make more money, and stand out from the crowd, which obviously we all want to do. So just a quick note about who I am so you can see a little bit behind the curtain. Again, my name is Justus Foss, and I am a loan officer with Bell Mortgage. As you can see, I'm licensed in quite a few states, but I am based out of Minnesota. So I was born and raised in Fargo, North Dakota, where I spent most of my life until I found my way here in the cities here in Minnesota. So I have my master's in counseling and therapy as well as school counseling, and I previously worked in a private practice as a therapist and at a high school as a school counselor and as a psychology instructor at a community college. So all those experiences kind of really led to where I'm at now, which is kind of weird to say, but even my time working at a psych ward. So the job as a psychology instructor was honestly one of the best jobs I've ever had. So by teaching these classes, it gives me a little bit of that give back feeling that I had when I was teaching. So I really use my background and education as a basis for how I operate as a loan officer to clients. As you can see, I am married to my beautiful wife, Rachel, and we have 2 fur babies, and we actually just announced this week because we have a little one on the way due in February. So our black lab is Maisie and our golden doodle is Zelda. And then I love to play sports and have my whole life. As you can see, golfer, that one in the bottom middle, that's broom ball. For those of you who are in warmer climates, that's played in a hockey rink. You're running on ice. And then I played soccer my whole life through college, and then currently playing a lot of roller hockey and ice hockey. I started, for whatever reason, started wanting to be a goalie later in life. So one of the main reasons I wanted to host this class is because I wanted to help educate you. So my job as a lender is not only to provide a world-class experience for you and our mutual clients, but for my job, but I also believe as a true lender partner, it's to help my referral partners grow their business. So if you're a referral partner already here today, thank you so much for attending. This is kind of my way of saying thank you. And then if we don't yet work together, perhaps you're open to that possibility. But this is today really just one example of what I do for my real referral partners to help them succeed in their business. So enough about me. Let's get on to why you're really here. So the agenda, what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to look at how to discover your unique brand DNA. We're going to look at winning the attention war in today's noisy world, because we know there's so much going on social media wise and with news and everything going on. How do you compete with that, right? How to build trust and connection with your ideal clients. The 3 steps to increase your influence and grow your income. Then to get branding, case studies that you can use and deploy right away. So that's always obviously super important, because then you can use that and you can use these examples right off the bat. So let's get started with this. So first, let's start with clarifying what a personal brand is. So Americans most consider a personal brand as an individual who is well known, they're a content creator or a professional service provider. Ultimately, the majority of Americans consider a personal brand as someone who is simply recognizable, and that's it. Don't you just love that simple definition? Someone who's just simply recognizable. It just makes things easy, right? Now, I'm sure we would all agree that we are in the business that requires you to be known. Being known means being in front of people, means being able to get business. So being known is huge. The benefits of building a personal brand are obviously compelling. So 63% of Americans are most likely to buy from a personal brand. 51% of Americans would seek advice from a personal brand, and 49% of Americans would recommend a business who has an established personal brand. So obviously, having some sort of branding for yourself is extremely important. So, question for all of you, probably a rhetorical one, but are any of these important to your success as a real estate agent? Obviously, right? So buying from you, seeking advice, and being recommended, those are huge in your field. So we've established what a personal brand is and the benefits of having a personal brand. The next step is to discover your personal brand DNA. Now, scientifically speaking, what is DNA? So DNA is the genetic code that makes up who you are at a genetic level. The same is true in creating your personal brand. It is 100% unique to you. Your personal brand is not, however, about you. I repeat, your personal brand is not about you. The number one reason why most agents fail with personal branding is because too often they are making it all about who? Themselves. It's actually all about the people you serve and delivering value to them. So we start by discovering your brand DNA by asking two main questions. To what problem are you the solution? And how specifically do you solve that problem or their problems? People want solutions to problems. The more specific you can be with the problem that you solve and how you solve it, the more you'll break through that noise. So let's take a look at what problems can you help people solve. These are problems that people considering buying or selling are struggling with. So there's fear, doubt, uncertainty. Should they buy, sell, move now? What should they offer? Is now a good time to buy or sell? Obviously, you're getting tons of these types of questions. They struggle with confidence. Can they qualify? Can they find a home? Will they be able to find what they're looking for? Will they get a good deal? Confusion. What's the process? What do I do? Who do I turn to? Who are the professionals? Can I get pre-approved? And then location. What area best fits my needs? Now, these are all problems that you can help people solve. So let's think about this. Think about the problem that you can solve in one word. Here's a little list of examples to get you thinking. So first-time home buyers, you can solve their confidence, their fear, their doubt by being a knowledge base, right? Empty nesters, you can help with that transition. Divorced couples have that confusion of what to do, where to go, who to turn to. Or people relocating from another area to, let's just say, from North Carolina to the cities. What that uncertainty look like? How can you be a bridge to that change? Now, these are just obviously a few examples to get you thinking. Now, let's take a deeper look into this. Now, remember, we said not only what problems you solve, but once you're clear on the specific problems that you solve, the next step is to articulate how you solve that problem. So let's look into this further. You can solve problems a number of ways. Now, you can provide education, you can provide guidance, you can provide a plan or a process, or resources like guides, partnerships, connections, all that kind of stuff. To help articulate how you solve a problem, let's talk about a brand positioning statement. So the purpose of a brand positioning statement is to bring it all together. So the positioning statements job is to concisely convey the who, what, and how. Who you serve, what problems you solve, and how you solve them. So here's an example. Acme Realty specializes in helping first-time homebuyers feel confident about finding the perfect starter home in the greater Minneapolis area. Acme Realty's team has the local expertise to help guide you in finding your dream home in your ideal neighborhood, because that's what makes a house a home. So those who are in here, what do you think of this? Who does Acme Realty serve in this example? I get to ask questions. You can put it in the chat. It also gives me a half second to drink some water. Perfect. David's on top of it. Yes. First-time home buyers. So what problem are they solving? They're solving the confidence. So notice how it's italicized and bolded to emphasize that point. Just trying to make it a little easier for you to understand. How do they solve it? They are local expertise and they provide guidance. Now I place those words again in italics and bolded to help you see how they integrate. So hopefully this makes sense. Now this is an example of a brand positioning statement for a real estate company that specializes in first-time home buyers feeling more confident. How do they solve this problem? They have a local expertise to help guide them. So now that you're making progress on your brand positioning, the next step is to get a clear indication of who you are. Now, who are you? Your most compelling, unique advantage in attracting your ideal clients to choose you is you. It's really that simple. Double down on being you. To discover your brand DNA, you first have to get a clear indication of who you really are. What is your style when you're being your true, authentic self? What is your personality, your values, your beliefs? That is what needs to show in the content that you put out and what you communicate to the world. Oh, I jumped, sorry. So yeah, your style, your personality, your values and beliefs, those are huge in determining what you give out in the world. So here's a kind of an extreme example. So Larry Wignan is known as the pit bull of personal development. He's the author of 6 best-selling books and just with a quick glance, is his brand DNA pretty obvious? Right? It is, right? I mean, look at him, look at those covers. In his style, by the way, it might not be appealing to everyone, right? With titles like Grow a Pair and Your Kids Are Your Own Fault, he's repelling some people, but he knows his ideal audience. As he says, discover your uniqueness and exploit it in the service of others. So you have to understand that it's okay to be who you truly are. If you're bold and the pit bull of personal development, well, you've got to celebrate and embrace that. Now, personal branding expert Kay Putnam has identified 12 different brand archetypes or brand personas, and they are the caregiver, the creator, and the royal in the stability triad, the explorer, the sage, the innocent in the freedom triad, the entertainer, the girl guy next door, and lover in the connection triad, and the maverick, the hero, and magician in the impact triad. So your brand DNA will fall into one of these categories most likely. Now, would you like to know what type of brand archetype you are? Now, you can actually go take the quiz and find out on her website. She offers free branding quiz to help get you a clear indication of what your brand archetype is. And you can take it at kputnam.com. Many agents who take the quiz find it aligns with their true self and gives them permission to embrace that brand persona. Now, I took the quiz and found out that I'm a sage, and it's kind of crazy how much it lined up very well with my brand and its persona as a mortgage professional and what type of content I'm putting out into the world. So make sure to take a picture of this slide, write it down, or send yourself a message to take that quiz. The quiz is kind of unique. It's a bunch of like pictures, and you're comparing different pictures and picking one from it. So when I was taking it, I was like, there's no way this is going to line up. And it's kind of just like that. If you take, 16personalities.com, Back when I was working with clients, we'd always have our clients take something like that, so we can kind of get an idea of what their personality type was. When I was taking this, I was hitting those pictures thinking like, there's no way, no way. And then I got the sage and I read what it was. I was like, oh, that's spot on. So it's kind of unique. So something to definitely try. So take a picture of this or go to kputnam.com and take that quiz. And I'd love to hear, let me know what you end up being. I'd love to hear what everyone ends up turning into with that. So if you're going to win the attention war in today's noisy world, knowing who you are, what problems you solve, and how are all important pieces of the puzzle. So obviously we all agree that there's a ton of digital noise today. We're competing with, if you think of all the realtors that are out there, in my case, all the lenders, all the digital noise that's out there, all the stuff that's going on, the news about, is now the time to buy, the market's crashing, all that kind of stuff. So we know there's tons of noise. So let's take a look at how we break through that. So it's obviously hard, first of all, to break through that wall of noise. Now, on the left of the wall is where most people are. They are mostly unknown. They struggle sometimes for years to break through the wall of noise, to become known. The other side of the wall is for those people and the brands that have broken through the wall of noise and are now well known by those that they want to be known by. The motivation, by the way, for people to move from the unknown to the known isn't really all about ego. It's about serving people at a higher level. Now, the first step is to break through the wall of noise. So you can spend years bouncing off this wall and stay stuck in the unknown zone. The main reasons that people stay in this zone from breaking through the wall of noise are that they have a diluted focus, they have too many ideas at once, they have too many social platforms that they're trying to focus on, they have no clear messaging, and they lack consistency. Fall into these traps and you'll remain in the unknown zone. The solution to break through the wall of noise and move from unknown to known is focus. Intentional hyper-focus on a primary message to a primary audience on a primary platform. Now, are you with me so far? I hope this makes sense. I like to check for understanding just to make sure that we're on the same page. So if you can give me a thumbs up or a yes, and it also allows me to just check in, make sure that the audio is good and everyone's listening. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples, and I'm sure you're going to recognize a lot of these people. So who knows who this is? Obviously, it says on the cover, but it is Dave Ramsey. So what is his primary message about? I think we all know it's getting out of debt, right? We all know him as the guy who's all about getting out of debt. Dave Ramsey built his entire platform on helping young people get out of debt. Now, would you agree that he's pay cash, baby? There you go. That's all about Dave Ramsey. Would you agree that he's broken through the wall of noise from the unknown to the known? Yes, obviously, for sure, right? He's on the cover of a national magazine that I'm using in a presentation. So, but does his approach appeal to everybody? No. But if Dave Ramsey had tried to be all things to all people, it's unlikely that he would be well known as he is today. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that he sends out that I'm sitting here going like, I don't agree with that. You can leverage debt in order to, come out on the other side and gain more equity in different things. But he focused on that primary message, and that's what helped get him known. Now, someone who's competing in today's US Open, Serena Williams. And what is she primarily known for? Tennis. She broke through the wall of noise because of her relentless focus on being a phenomenal tennis player. She has since turned her tennis career into a brand worth millions. You could say the same thing for someone named Tiger Woods. What about Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V? We all know who Gary V is if we're in this industry, right? You should, and if you don't, make sure you look him up. Now, but who knows what Gary Vee was originally known for? Does anyone in the chat know what Gary Vee was originally known for? We got a quiet chat, but Gary Vee was originally known for his YouTube channel on the channel being called Wine Library TV. He broke through the noise first with just wine, hoping to help grow his parents' liquor stores, and now he's diversified into shoes, media, NFTs, and a lot more, right? He's a motivational speaker, he's got podcasts, we all know him, right? But it all started with wine on YouTube. That was his primary focus. So what do all three of these people have in common? They are very well known. They become well known for one primary thing in the very beginning. They are not liked by everyone, and they accept that. They're worth millions, and they've positively impacted the lives of millions of people. So now you might be asking yourself, how does this apply to me? Now, I'm not proposing you become famous. Obviously, it would help in selling things. But would you agree to do well in real estate, you need to become known, build your reputation, and attract people to choose you? To become known, build reputation, and attract people, we need to build trust and connection with our ideal clients. So let's talk about how we're going to do that. Through content, right? It's still all about relationships and people. In today's world, the fast track to build trust and connection is with content. Content is the catalyst to driving trust and connection. A key part of having a personal brand is creating content. People are desperate for understanding in a housing world that's never been crazier. Wouldn't you agree? That's what people are seeking. You can build trust by informing people with content. You can demonstrate your worthiness by explaining things with content. Now, just to be clear, content that's all about you, just those listed and just sold over 100K asking and all that kind of stuff, that is not what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to share some examples of how to share more content here in a moment. Now, however, knowing this and having a personal brand means being a content creator. So you have to be able to put yourself out there. According to the Trends in Personal Branding study, the demographics show that creating content helps build your brand awareness. Let's pop all these up. There we go. So 40% of millennials view content as a key part of a personal brand. The rising tide of future clients, such as Gen Zs, associate content with personal brand even more. So what kind of content are we talking about? So let's look at some actual realtor case studies, and that will bring all this and tie this all together and bring it more full circle. And this will allow you to actually take some examples from what highly successful people are doing and apply it right away to your own practice. So let's start with education and guidance. We talked about one of the ways that you can create content is to create content that is educational. That's guiding people. Now remember that brand positioning statement that we showed up earlier, that people are desperate for an understanding in a housing world that's never been crazier. So here is Leslie Glazer, who's a top 100 broker in Chicago with 20 years of experience in the industry. So notice the one-word problem right there on her website: confidence. Do people struggle with confidence when buying and selling a home? Yes, of course they do. That's why they turn to professionals, right? Leslie is also a certified divorce real estate specialist and expert, and she helps clients navigate the process of divorce that involves shared property. This is the divorce real estate section on her website. Is it clear who she's serving here? Now, can you see the one example of how she's helping solve their problem? She has an ebook That's for educational purposes and an educational resource. She has a streamlined and fair process for divorce real estate clients. That's a process. And if we look at her bio, we can see that she kind of talks about her years of experience, all the different properties she sold, how her heart and her practice kind of goes into that work, the journey, and then the professionalism and the different certifications that she has. So obviously she's establishing authority and credibility, but it doesn't end there. So let's look at some of her content on social media. She is doing the same thing on Instagram. She's educating, guiding, and reinforcing her reputation. Now, obviously, this is a dumb question, and we all know the answer. But can any agent assist with a shared property during a divorce? Of course they can, right? But does she appear better positioned to get chosen for any potential clients that would be going through a divorce versus other agents? Clearly she does. She's developed the expertise and the brand persona that she has the authority and capability. This is an example, content specifically, of educational content that helps demonstrate her capabilities, that builds both trust and connection. But of course, she's not only working within the divorce niche. Here's more content from Leslie on her blog, again, building authority through content. The question is your content building your authority and providing a way for people to engage with you? More often than not, content is lacking from too many real estate agents. Therefore, there's not really a way for potential clients to engage with you and to build trust and connection. Here's the JFK Living team in New Jersey. Does it look like they're clear on who they are? Obviously, they're very vibrant and they're very fun. Now, does their content style perhaps convey something about their personal, their brand personality? Yes, of course it does, right? Bright, fun colors, expression. Now, will their style perhaps not align with some people's preferences? Sure, but that's the point. Be for someone, not for everyone. You will attract your ideal clients when you are being for someone, not for everyone. Remember to exploit that uniqueness. Here's an example of Agent Jeb Smith focusing on YouTube to build his content platform. Notice the top right where it says helping to educate buyers and sellers. Another example of helping solve problems with educational content. What's his primary platform? YouTube. Now, I would suggest you follow Jeb. You'll learn a lot from his content and how to go about YouTube if that's somewhere where you want to start or build on. More examples of educational content. So the 10 fun facts with the donut is a blend of educational and entertainment. It's content focused on the local area. So I could go on and on in terms of educational content, as there's virtually no end to educational content you could provide. And it helps establish your personal authority and trust with your audience. I hope this all makes sense. Another example of educational content is to use data to help back up your position. Agents are always saying it's a great time to buy. So how about using data to support why, and you become credible? Without the data, it's really just a sales pitch. This is an example from Keeping Current Matters and is showing the price appreciation expected going forward from January 2021 to 2026. Do you think this could help clients that are potentially on the fence about buying a house right now? Those saying, is it a good time to buy? Am I buying at the high end of the market? Will there be an appreciation drop? Here's another example of resources. The Brell team is a brokerage in Canada, and on their website, they have a library of resources relevant for buyers and sellers. Who is this targeted towards? The Complete First-Time Seller Guide, 30 Days to Selling Your Home. It's an example of a resource that showcases their expertise while creating a way for people to engage with them through education. As you can see, they have an example here on their website for first-time homebuyer guides, or how to buy a condo, or the steps to buying a home. Providing these steps and these content guides can help people not only build trust with you, but then connect with you and through the education that you're providing. Here's something that I'm working on currently myself, and look at this, and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful rendition of something that you could do yourself as well. So how about having this defined process or system is another way to demonstrate the solution to people's problems. This actual infographic that actually maps out pre-listing to sold roadmap. That's an excellent way to showcase your capabilities and give it to people in a visual way that makes it easy to understand. And obviously you're adding in links to YouTube, so then you're creating content there, so they're finding you in other ways. So you're just building your rapport and your expertise for these clients that are using these resources. Now again, talk is cheap, so you really have to show how you're going to do this. So I hope those were some good examples. And so the final layer in crafting your brand DNA is to use what you've learned, apply it with the final steps to increase your influence and grow your income. So obviously we all do this, right? I am super guilty of this. I do this with movies, I do this with restaurants, all of that. But how many of you, and you don't have to answer, but I know the answer, right? How many of you look up reviews on restaurants, a local handyman, a movie, service of any kind, when you want to go do something or use something, right? The same thing applies to you when potential clients are looking you up. So you know this already, but you need to be reminded. It's fundamental to growing your influence and your income to have your own testimonials and online reviews. You need to push that. It's extremely important. 62% of Americans say having testimonials is the most important factor when deciding who to purchase from. In a personal side of things, I've had some people reach out to me that, they found me on Facebook and then looked up my Google reviews and said, I want to work with you simply because of what people have said about you. So who here has had past happy clients who they have not received an online review or testimonial? I'm sure plenty of us, right? I know I haven't either. So call them as soon as possible and ask them. Set it up, make it as easy as possible. Send them a link that they can just click on and go do. Each client testimonial is like adding additional money in your retirement account, and it compounds your return on investment over time. You can collect all kinds of client testimonials. So here's Taya, and she's taking a testimonial using it as an Instagram post. So she has a nice picture, she takes a segment of the testimonial, and then writes a content part about that within Instagram. So here's that JFK Living Group again, involving their clients in the client stories, creating an amazing social content and credibility. Plus, they're having fun with their clients because that's their brand DNA, and everyone loves having fun. So having reviews on your Google business profile is critical. It's called controlling the first impression online when people Google your name. So what are they finding? Is your Google business profile verified and optimized? If not, I have a class. I can help teach you to do that. Now, I don't have it fully set up yet, but it'll be here soon. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, please let me know, and I can get you on a short list for when I'm going to be teaching that class. So coming full circle here, people want a real connection with real people. They want to know the real you. So you get rewarded for being who you really are. Be authentic. Don't try to fake it. You might be polarizing like Dave Ramsey, and you will not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. Now, how do you be authentic? You develop a point of view. You figure out what is your approach to real estate. Figure out how should buyers and sellers be treated, and how do you do real estate differently than others. Communicate all of that. Demonstrate it through content, your stories, and the examples that you share. So this guy's interesting, right? So here's an example of an extreme example of someone who's comfortable being himself, his true authentic version of himself. So this is Justin Mercer, and he's the tattooed realtor. Now you don't have to go get your body covered completely in tattoos, by the way, to stand out. And this is just him being himself, but he's one of the top producing real estate agents in the Phoenix area, which we all know Maricopa County is one of the fastest growing counties in the country. He's closed $30 million in transactions in less than 3 years. Clearly, he's standing apart and rising above the noise by attracting people to him who are into that. Now, guess what? You might be repelled by him, and he doesn't care. There's enough people out there who like his style and his approach. So here's 3 examples of more people showing their authentic content. So educational sharing from Taya again for rental buying tips. And then there's Allison sharing a glimpse into the life while she's pregnant by sharing her feelings of being uncomfortable and on camera when she's 37 weeks pregnant. And then there's Jesse out of Canada being his authentic self and having fun, talking about how low inventory challenge is in the marketplace. The essence of branding is doing or saying what your competitors are unwilling to do or say. That there then creates that differentiation. The most important factor in building your influence is consistency. Content relevance is more important than content quantity. But you must be consistent with posting content. It's not all about massive followers either. Across all generations, the number of followers is the least important factor when deciding who to follow, like, engage with, or recommend online. It's all about being you, sharing relevant content, and doing it consistently over time. You might be asking, how often should I post? Now, generally speaking, this is what the data says about how often small businesses should post on social media. TikTok, the optimal amount is 3 times per day, with the bare minimum being several times per week or once per day. Facebook, minimum of once per week. Better if it's 3 times per week or more. Now, the beautiful thing is if you post on Instagram, you can link those two together. So Instagram is once per week, 3 times per week. Optimal would be once or twice a day. YouTube is once per week, and then LinkedIn is minimum of twice per week. Now, always check your stats to see what works best for your account, because everyone's is going to be slightly different with their content audience. And by the way, I'm not saying that you need to be on every one of these platforms. I'm just showing you the examples here. So pick the platform that you're already hanging out on anyway and go all in on that one. Now, I'll have more classes in the future on all of this. So if you'd like more information on my upcoming classes, again, just let me know. So in closing, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. You have to get started. Remember, progress over perfection. I hope today has been helpful in some way, shape, or form, helping you make progress, or at least motivating you to do so. So again, let's recap what we covered today. We talked about how to discover your unique brand DNA. We talked about winning the attention war in today's noisy world, how to build trust and connection with your ideal clients, the 3 steps to increase your influence and grow your income. And we went over those case studies that you can swipe and deploy for your own content. So I hope this was helpful. Now, did you get some good ideas? If you're in the chat, could you give me one big idea from today? What was it? What was one big takeaway or idea that you got? Austin, consistency. Yep. Yep. Trying to stay up and continue it. Yep. I like that. We got a couple that are on phones, so they can't probably can't say anything in. But yeah, obviously there's a lot here, right? So I have homework for everyone. So your homework assignment, I wouldn't be someone who taught courses and not give homework, right? So as a former psych instructor at a community college, you can't leave without a homework assignment, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down the top 5 questions that you repeatedly get from prospective clients, friends, and family about real estate or the market. So the top 5 questions that you get from prospects, clients, family, and friends. And then I want you to take each one of the 5 and answer those questions on social media and then post them, ideally in a short video form. So that way you're getting yourself in front of it as well, right? They want to recognize you with your brand. And now you can just post the question and answer the video, but a video would be preferred over text, right? If you think about how you take in content, you're more likely to watch a video than you are to read something. So the best way to do this would be to film a video of yourself answering these questions. Now, when you post it, tag me in the post so I can comment and support you. Obviously, we know the way that works is when you tag and people comment, it reaches more eyes and it builds up your content and everything. So, support people by commenting and all that. So yes, please, your homework assignment, write down the top 5 questions you get, post a video, tag me, I will comment and support you. That's your homework. Hope we're willing to accept that. In closing, I also have a simple question. Are you interested in a partnership? I'm looking to partner with a few select agents who value a lender partner over a lender vendor. Obviously, the job as a loan officer can be very commoditized. So what does a partner mean to me? It starts with creating a world-class referable customer experience for you and your client, of course, but that's just the beginning. A true partner is someone who helps you win more deals and grow your business. If that's what you're looking into for a lender, let's talk and see if we have a fit. So here's what to do next. You can schedule a meeting with me in the big one on the right. If you want to look up myself or any of my stuff, you can use my Linktree one in the middle. That provides a link to all of the different platforms that I'm on and the different stuff that I do. And then the last thing would be, if you would like to take part in my next class is going to be called Embracing the Shift, which is how to pivot in this changing real estate market that we're in. So that one will be in 2 weeks from today. So I already have that up on my Facebook page. It's on Eventbrite. I already got the landing page for you to register. You can use this QR code right here. If you take that with your phone, that'll bring you right to it and allow you to register. And, I'll be reaching out to anyone that was here, just hoping to get some feedback. And if you're a part of this, please also send me an email. Let me know feedback, what you liked, what you didn't, how the homework's going. I'd love to continue that conversation. So thank you so much for taking part. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to add now? Otherwise, I'll let you all go and I'll catch you on the next one.